Hey guys, it's Beth. I am here surviving and thriving along with you on my knitting journey and hoping that you guys are doing well and keeping up with all of your projects as much as I am right now. Now, I have to say, all of those finishes I was hoping to make in March didn't quite do it, but I'm okay with that because now I have had this new wave of cast-on-itis and I am ready to head forward, I guess spring ahead into all my new makes. I've got a whole lot going on right now, so I thought I'd pop in on YouTube and give you an update with everything I'm doing. So before I get into my cast-on-itis, I'm gonna adjust my shirt, make it a little more even. This is my Tumbleweed by Rose Beck. This was a test knit that I made 2021, I think. And this was for Nomadic Knits. It is in the Texas issue of their publications, and it is knit in, I'm gonna have to look again, Stolen Stitches Nua Sport in the colorway Hatter's Teal Party. It's a summer tee. It was intended as a summer tee, but the fiber that I chose, I think, is too warm for that. So, this was, I'm still new. I still think of myself as new because I don't always know what fibers to choose to get the fabric that I want in a finished object. So knitting this as a summer tee, this is the experience that showed me, oh yeah, you need the right yarn for a summer tee. And this isn't it. This is, it's good under a turtleneck. Here in Chicago in April, a turtleneck is appropriate, unfortunately. This one, I had to knit the yoke twice on this, and I think I talked about this in a previous episode, probably way back, because I remember talking about that I always knit the yoke twice. I did that in a couple of test knits, which was kind of what made me decide I'm not cut out for test knitting, because maybe it's just that I'm not good at getting gauge. I need to figure out how to work gauge swatches in order to figure myself out, because I have another one this week that I will be talking about. So let's get into that. I was going to talk about all my socks first because they're easy to just get over with. But I had been talking about the Joni top, and that is a pattern by Natasja Hornby. And this bag that I found, isn't it cute? So anybody who saw me in the last episode, I talked about cleaning out a closet. This bag was in that closet, and it's got this clear thing on the side. It was for a dance costume that my daughter had long ago. So Shannon, if you want this bag back, you can have it. But right now, my Joni top is living in it. So once that's done, I'll send it off to you, along with the needle that I still have. Anyhow, Joni top. I had bought the yarn for this at YarnCon, which I talked about on my last episode, and I made a gauge swatch. So here's the gauge swatch I made. parts of it are done flat, and it specifically says in the pattern, gauge swatch this. So I did, you can see how it's like split on both ends, because I started with the recommended needle size. Right now it's hard for me to tell which side is which, but yeah, this side is definitely the closer gauge. But I started flat, knitting flat, and then switched to in the round because she suggested doing both to get your gauge swatch, to measure your gauge for what you're going to have, because you're going to do both in this pattern. So anyhow, it smells good. I blocked it with a Tuft Woolens bar, and it smells so good. Anyhow, I was able to get gauge on a needle much bigger. And I didn't particularly love the fabric, which I think it's kind of hard to see on screen. But what I did like about it is that it seems like it's got more drape with the larger needle, which I think I would like in this top, because it does have a lot of lace in it, and I feel like the drape of that around the lace would be nice. So I don't know. But then I was eager to cast on, because I had gotten gauge with a much larger needle size. I believe the pattern calls for a US 4 needle, and I ended up getting gauge on a US 7. So I had to go up quite a bit in order to get gauge, but this is as far as I've gotten, you guys. So this is the shoulders. This is the back shoulders. Now, if you notice, the way I'm holding that up, it is way bigger than my shoulders. So right off the bat, I thought, this is not going to fit me. This is going to be way bigger than I need it to be. So it went off to the side while I decided to start other things. So the Joni top is going to be restarted on a smaller needle. We'll see what size I end up with. It wouldn't surprise me if I end up with the recommended needle size, and that the reason that I wasn't getting gauge is because my swatch is this tiny little circumference, and I think maybe that's my problem with swatching. Joni top on the side. I will continue with that. I know I will. My easy knit right now, did I bring that up? Is my Seaside set, which is by Petite Knit. I think I left it downstairs. I'll be right back. Yes, I did leave it downstairs. It's living in a JoJo tote, JoJo bag, from the Cozy Up Knit girls, their mom. And she is on Etsy. I am knitting the Seaside set by Petite Knit. Here we go. This is being knit out of Frankfurt fingering from Knitty McPurly in the Bosc and Black Forest Cake colorways. And did I say it was Knitty McPurly? That's what I was meaning to say anyway. So that's the yarn. And isn't that just so cute? I love how the stripes are coming out on this. And This is for my niece's baby. I think this is going to be the outfit for the girl who was just born. And, right? Was that my plan? Now I'm trying to remember. I think I did the size that would fit next fall or winter for the girl. This is going to be a long sleeve sweater. This right here is a button band, so it's nice for those big baby heads that you can just unbutton it and it'll slide on and off very easily. And it has matching pants to go with it, so this Black Forest Cake colorway will be the color of the pants. And I'm excited. It's going right now. I'm just going round and round knitting. I had looked up one of those jogless stripe things, and I don't know if I'm doing it right because I kind of just did it by memory. and I think I've done a different thing on every stripe. Like, I'm like, how do I do that again? I don't know. And I'm thinking, you know, this is something that a baby is going to wear. I don't know how long the baby will wear it. But my stripes are being joined under the arm, and I think I did this one very wrongly. I think I probably did the opposite of what I was supposed to do there. And then I've kind of started the stripes maybe in a different spot here and there. I've kind of tried to offset them a little bit. But yeah, I might want to look that up again and make sure make sure I know what I'm doing. But I can't imagine, this is the size for a 1-year-old. So I can't imagine anybody's going to catch the 1-year-old and be like, let me look at those stripes. What happened there? So anyhow, that is the Seaside set by Petite. My next thing that I want to show you, this one I am totally loving for reasons that I didn't know I was going to love it. Okay. I saw on Expression Fiber Arts, I subscribe to their email list, and I know every Friday she sends a free pattern, which, you know, sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't. I don't remember if this was one of the free patterns or if I just saw this on her email and thought, ooh, that's a pretty, what do you call these? Shawl. But this is Slipdream. And so far, it is just surprising me with the amount of texture it has. I did not know that this was going to have texture. I thought it was just going to be mosaic color work. And so far, I have had no mosaic whatsoever, but a lot of slip stitches. And the name Slipdream is perfect for this because there's a lot of slip stitches that create this texture. And I have been loving knitting this. This has been my one main go-to in this last couple of weeks because it's fun to watch the texture work up. And by now, with as many times as I've said texture, my daughter and her friends are probably wasted. Hi, Shannon. Anyhow, Sorry. My next thing, that's Slipdream. Oh, and it's the pattern is by Monica Wesley. And the yarns are all Expression Fiber Arts in her Amalie fingering. It's listed below, all the colorways. These, I know I talked about this on a recent episode where I talked about, yeah, the colorways don't really tell you what color they are because they're things like laughter and stuff like that you'd never say, oh yeah, that's purple. So anyhow, listed below if you're interested. Now let's get into the socks. So I had talked about my socks that I was knitting last episode in my self-striping yarn that I have now. This first one is Nomadic Yarns Twisty Socks in the colorway Amy, I don't know. And it says Sailor Mercury in parentheses. I don't know what that means, but this is the fruit stripe gum socks. So this is striping in the way I expected it to, with this diagonal rib. And that is how the pattern was intended to look. So this is making me happy. I can't wait to wear these. I have another one that I am also doing that I also showed on the last episode. And where did I put? Oh, it's zipped inside one of these bags. I think it's this one. Yes. This, okay. I can't remember if I said what I'm doing with this, that I kind of changed the way I'm doing the pattern. But because it's not very clean lines in the striping, it's not going to look the same as the fruit stripe gum sock pattern was intended to look. So I altered the pattern thinking I might as well just have fun with this since it's not doing what I expected it to do. So I'm going to go a different way with this. Now, should I hold it like that? Yeah. So you can kind of see how, like, with the diagonal rib, how it's turning like that. And then what I did is I knit just stockinette for the same amount of rows. I think it was 14 rows that I did. So I did 14 rows of ribbing, 14 rows of diagonal ribbing, and then 14 rows of stockinette. Now I'm starting another 14 rows of ribbing diagonally the other direction. I thought that would be fun. And, you know, if it turns out to look weird, I can rip it out and try again. We'll see what happens. These are for my oldest son's girlfriend, and hopefully they'll knit up quickly. So far, they're working pretty quickly. I had to kind of come up with my own way to kind of reverse that ribbing because I'm just guessing. And it seems to be working. I don't know if you can tell at this point, like probably when I see this on my TV, I'll be like, oh yeah, you can tell that. But usually when I'm looking at it here up close, I'm like, I can't see if that's on there or not. But yeah, fun pattern. I love learning new techniques, and this one is teaching me some really cool techniques. So next pair of socks, last pair of socks. So last summer, I saw this yarn and had to have it for both myself and my daughter, because my daughter is a big fan of watermelons. So I started my watermelon socks. I'm so excited. I'm just doing a vanilla sock. So I start with a 14 round 2x2 rib, and that's about as far as I've gotten. I just barely started the stockinette part for the leg, and this is, let me see, what is the yarn here? I wrote it. Brenda and Heather yarns, and it is their Slice of Summer remix. And I didn't write down the base. I don't know what the base is. It's an 80-20. That's what I remember, is that it's an 80% superwash, 20% nylon base. And I have another pair of socks that it's a similar base from a different yarn dyer, and I went up a needle size with this because my other ones that I have, what I did, because I was a newer knitter, I went down a needle size because I was like, oh, this yarn is thicker, and in order to use the same number of stitches that I usually use, I need to go down a needle size, and that way it'll fit the same. Well, those socks have now felted some, and I don't know if that has something to do with how tightly it's knit. But yeah, I have a hard time pulling those socks on and off now. So anyway, watermelon colorway. This is so fun. I thought this is very summery. This will get me ready for the season. I'm excited about it. I am going to make these full-length socks. I don't know that I'll have many occasions to wear watermelon socks. Didn't really think that through, but I like them. They're cute. So that's the plan with those. Now, I have some new to me things, you guys. Okay. I was watching last week, Knitty McPurly's video, and she was talking about, hey, why don't we have a faux set along? So I thought, yes, I would like that. So Knitty McPurly, Devon Ventry, has a pattern, in case you don't know, has a pattern for a summer tee called Faux Set. And it is a color work t-shirt. It is like all over color work, and it is just gorgeous. So I went to Devon's website and I ordered some yarn, and I am making this. Now, I haven't started yet. I just got the yarn. So I'm going to show you the yarn. So the colorways that I chose, this will be my main colorway. This is Thistle, and it is in Dubrovnik DK, and it is this lovely lavender, almost pink. I feel like it's maybe washing out a little bit on the screen. It's definitely more purple, and purple I personally like purple. Then, oh wow, this is really close to what I'm wearing. This is called Beryl, B-E-R-Y-L, also Dubrovnik DK. The whole thing is in Dubrovnik DK. And I'm loving this color. I feel like these two colors have good contrast. And then my third color, and this is my favorite, is Meadow. And this one I plan to use for the collar, because I wanted that one closest to my face because I wasn't sure how well I would like either of these by my face. I'm looking to see, okay, I've talked about this before, but if the color reflects off of your chin, it's supposed to be a good color for you. But if it causes a shadow under your chin, it's supposed to not be a good color for you. I feel like this may be causing a shadow. So that's the one that's going to be more like in the middle here. And then this one is going to be contrasted up here. So that's the plan. My color work will be mostly purples and greens, which, by the way, I didn't even realize when I ordered it that I was going with another purple and green combination. Funny how that goes, isn't it? So I actually bought a second skein of thistle because the pattern is for a cropped top. I don't wear cropped. So this is sort of the middle color. So my plan is just go a little bit longer in the middle, and I probably will have some of this left over, which I can then add to my squares blanket that I started, which is a combination of Knitty McPurly and Chicken Lady Fiber Arts DK Advents from last Christmas. Haven't touched that. Haven't done a thing with it in quite some time, probably since January. So that's the faux set along. Anybody who hasn't heard about this, if you're curious about it, on Instagram, you can look at hashtag FauxSetAlong 2023. So follow along, fun, cute, adorable, can't wait to make this. And actually, here, this. I bought a whole bunch of 40-inch Chow needles in different sizes from an Etsy shop called Handsome Fibers. I was in that place of, I want to cast on all the things. And I realized that I didn't have enough needles to cast on all the things. So I made a spreadsheet. I made a spreadsheet of what all the things are. And I came up with what size needles I need for all the things. And I ordered them. So I have no excuse of not having the right needle because I have all the needles. This Etsy shop was recommended to me last year at the Frivolous and Frugal 3-ply podcast meetup, and I had spoken with Nikki of the Got Whips podcast, and she said that this guy on Etsy is about as fast as you would get on Amazon. And one thing that she had told me about this is that on Amazon, you don't always have that lifetime guarantee with your needles because I don't even know exactly why, but maybe they're sometimes not real Chow goos, or I don't know exactly what it was, but relying on Nikki's word, these ones have that lifetime guarantee. And like, seriously, I ordered these and within a day or two I had them, and he is on, I think, the West Coast. So get your needles from this guy. He's got like all kinds of them. He like every kind of needle that you would want, they have at this shop. So that's my advice to you. Buy from that guy. Remember last week, it was 2 weeks ago that I last uploaded. I talked about that I had ordered some yarn from Why Not. It came, it's here. This is the Moss colorway in their Stardust fingering base, and that is, as you can probably see right there, a lovely sparkling finger weight yarn. And my intention for this was like the first booth that my friends and I stopped at, and I was like, I want to make the Joni top with that. So subsequent to that, I had picked up a different yarn and chose to make my Joni top with that. So this had not yet arrived, and I will decide what I want to make with that. And she also sent me this cute little stitch marker that I'm gonna try to but I thought that was nice that she included that. It was, I love this color. Is this like, this is gorgeous, isn't it? I can't tell if it's reflecting. I don't think it's making a shadow. I think what's making a shadow is the white. I think I have that shadow from the white, because it's not a good color for me, you guys. Anyhow, I don't know what this wants to be. I will figure that out. I just love this color. It may end up mixed in with something else. Who knows? I have been wanting to make the Zweig sweater by Caitlin Hunter, and I had 2 yarns picked out for that, but I've just kind of put it off and put it off and put it off, and that needs to jump on my needles. It's not like I don't have enough. So, on to the comments. So, in the comments this week, Selfish Knitter said, I booked my room for the MIDI meetup while I was watching this morning. Yay! I can't wait to see you there, Colleen. The only yarning event I go to is the Wisconsin Sheep and Wool Festival, held the weekend after Labor Day at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds. I first heard of it about 10 years ago from some non-knitting friends who were more interested in the sheep barns and the stock dog trials. I always try to catch a shearing demo, but my favorite part is probably the Make It With Wool competition / fashion show. I'm always impressed by the 4-H kids. Now, I don't have anything local to me that I know of that's like that. So I think I need to probably meet up with Colleen at this event, or maybe have a group of people all go there. That would be fun too. So I got to figure this out. I do know that like at my county fairgrounds, there is some 4-H stuff, but I don't know if they do like shearing sheep and stuff like that. I do know that I've seen some kind of projects long ago. For me, the problem with the county fair has always been that it conflicts most years with baton twirling nationals. So year after year after year, I was unable to attend. So this year I'm not planning to go to nationals, so I should head to my county fairgrounds and see what's happening in the 4-H tent. So thank you, Colleen, for talking about yarny events, because I think you may be the only one who mentioned that. Oh wait, nope, you are not. there was one other that talked about that. I think that was my assigned comment about this last time, which I've come to realize that people do not need an assignment. They will say whatever they want to in the comments. So for this episode, feel free to comment whatever you wish. But my other comment that I received about yarn festivals was from Deborah Kay, and she says, I attend a local yarn festival held in July. I volunteer every year, which gives me a chance to meet other knitters and vendors. And I was like, that's a great idea. Like, when I first got into the yarn world, the whole world was shut down, and I had no way of meeting with other knitters other than online. So I'm very excited now that the world is open up and we are having all these events again, because now I get the opportunity to meet the people that I see online and to meet new people who I don't see online and everything. I mean, my small knitting group, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, my small knitting group, it's the three of us, sometimes four, but we meet at the Panera, a nearby Panera, and we had realized on our first or second time there that there is another group of knitters who also meets at this Panera Bread same time every week. So we kind of sit at a table close to them, but we always sit together, the three of us, and then you know, we kind of interact with the other knitters. But it was kind of a funny thing, because it was like, oh, what do you know? Other knitters are doing the exact same thing in the exact same place at the exact same time. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are other groups of knitters, even in the local area, meeting at other places, and I just don't know about it. So I'm excited that that's a thing. So I love meeting other knitters because I could talk for hours about it. Susan says, Susan is, oh, you guys, I'm sorry, Susan, I still have this. I will get this out to you. I have to remember to mail it. The other person is coming to the Frivolous and Frugal 3-ply mini meetup, and I told her I would give it to her there. So I think that's why I forgot to mail out Susan's yarn. Anyhow, Susan, it's coming, I promise. But she said that she got a small start on the burra cowl, but decided to change her colors and will start again soon. So Susan, if you've even gotten a small start, you're further along than I am. Speaking of which, the burra cowl cal is still on. So this is a year-long knit along. I'll list the people involved. They are listed below. It's sort of at the end of my show notes. So lots of people are participating in this, different ways to enter for the different podcasters. So if you're interested in the burra cowl cal, take a look at that. So I hope you enjoy knitting the burra cowl. I will get started on that eventually, but I'm amid a bout of cast-on-itis, so that could be one of them. Sharon says, that school smell that I mentioned last time. She says, the smell of crayons and ivory soap always takes me there. Of course, that's elementary school over 50 years ago. I will say crayons. Yes, I can see that being a school smell. But ivory soap kind of surprised me. Like I can't, like having a bar of soap at school. I don't remember that when I was in grade school. I don't know. Did we have soap dispensers on the wall? I don't remember. I really don't. Like, I doubt we had bars of soap, but I have zero recollection of it because I don't remember washing my hands. I mean, I'm sure I did, right? However, that's not that school smell for me. There's a different smell that I get on my clothing, and I especially when I'm wearing something like a knitted object that I will wear over and over to school without washing it in between. So it's like an accumulated over time smell. So it isn't soap. But I'm glad that you have good memories of your school smells, Sharon. Wendy says, I love your enthusiasm. You're always encouraging, even when projects aren't working the way we expect. You'll get your projects done. Thank you for the encouragement, Wendy. I will say that I am of a nature of fake it till you make it. So I may seem like I'm just perfectly happy as can be, but outwardly I might not be showing the frustration that's in here. And I will also say, I think in my early 20s, I had listened to, what was his name? Tracy something. Anybody else listen to those cassette series? There was a company called Nightingale Conant. I don't know if they're still around, but they had a whole bunch of, like, it would be Deepak Chopra and Marianne Williams, whatever her name was, like all of the names in the self-help category that I loved to listen to. And I remember listening to a cassette series where the guy was talking about being successful. And one of the things that he talked about is that you can change how you feel. You are in control of your own feelings, and that when you are feeling something that you don't like, it is a switch of your brain. You have control over it, and you can make that change for yourself. You can choose to be angry. You can choose to be upset, sad, whatever. But you can also choose to feel good about it. You can choose to look into that feeling and see what's making you feel that feeling and turn it around for yourself. And that was really important in my life in order to help me to understand myself better and to see how you really do choose how you're feeling. It was a definite pivot for me back then. I really thought, like, when I first heard it, I kind of fought against it. I was like, no. But then I kind of figured out, I saw myself through those times, and I figured out how you can change those feelings. And I had to listen to the whole thing in order to get through that. I wish I could tell you who it was, but I don't have that cassette series anymore. At least not as far as I know. I think I've thrown away all of my cassettes now. All right, and I had a couple, one last one that I wanted to mention. Patricia said, well, I don't do duplicate stitch to weave in my ends at all, LOL. And I was like, really? I didn't know there were different ways of doing this. I thought I was doing the standard thing. I thought that's how you weave in ends. Is it not? So we kind of had a little bit of a back and forth about this. And I mean, not that I was fighting her about this, but just, you know, oh, that's interesting. What do you do? And so Patricia said that she has woven in ends in like going through the purl bumps in a diagonal way and going back the opposite direction. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a way of doing it. So interesting to me, because the way I've always woven in ends is, I don't even remember who it was that I looked up on YouTube, but it was, you know, how do you weave in ends? And whoever I found said, do it like this. Oh, that reminds me. I also looked up another video. When I made the shawl, when I started that shawl, Slipdream, I remember hearing about on other podcasts, I remember hearing about that, you know, how you get that bump on the garter stitch, what do they call that? The garter tab. And so people talk about trying to eliminate that bump. And so I probably watched a good 10 videos about garter tabs, and I found a good one. And if I can find it again, I will link it below. I don't remember who it was, but essentially it was, you're doing a cast on that is, Judy's Magic, Jenny's, some woman's magic cast on. And basically it's, people do toe up socks this way too. So it's kind of like you take your needle, let me grab this needle. This is Shannon's needle. And you kind of weave your yarn around both needles in a certain way in order to cast on. So it, and I would be holding it like this and holding my yarn like this and going like this over one and this over the other. Which does you no good to know. Anyhow. That one. It made it. Let me show you. Where is it? I feel like it did a great job of not giving me that bump in the cast on. So this is where that tab is. And I feel like there is no bump there, and it will be really nice when this thing is complete and I get to wear it. And anyhow, that's that about the cast on. That's that about the comments. And that's that for this episode. Please, please, please remember to subscribe if you have not already. I can tell you that I have seen a major change in the algorithm recently. I am seeing it in what gets recommended to me. I'm getting a large variety of different things that are recommended to me now. And sometimes I'm not even seeing some of the regular shows, podcasts that I subscribe to, because I know that Frivolous and Frugal had uploaded an episode and I didn't get it recommended to me for like 3 days after it was out. And they are one of the ones that I will watch as soon as it comes out because I want to see what they're up to. So I don't know if using that notification bell helps. I don't know what will make a difference, but definitely I think subscribing will get it recommended to you sooner than not subscribing. And make sure to like, comment below so I can talk about you in the next episode. Keep surviving, keep thriving. Have a great next couple of weeks, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye. By the way, if you notice how short my bangs are, I partly blame myself for that, and partly my hairdresser. I was getting my hair cut and like my bangs were down below my eyebrows still. And I just like them right above my eyebrows. Now, look at my hair. You can see that it just falls forward. Like I blow dry it straight back and it does not stay. I mean, I try to push it back whenever I blow dry. And so you can kind of see how it'll stay a little bit because that's how I blow dried it. But it always ends up falling to that falling forward position. So I know that about my hair. This is why I have bangs, because if I had just straight hair, it would fall in my face all the time. So I know this about my bangs, so I'm always asking for them to be just above my eyebrows because I can blow dry the bangs so that they're a little bit out and not falling straight into my eyes by the time that I'm ready for my next haircut. So when I said maybe go just a little bit shorter, she went a lot shorter. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if you can see. I was looking in my rear view mirror as I was driving home and I was like, that's right by that line in my forehead that goes all the way across my forehead. And I don't know if that's because I was like, because of the lighting it was at the time or what, but I was like, oh my gosh, my bangs are so short. Whatever. That part's probably coming out of the video. Anyhow,